Well, this is what we're working on today. We've got the disc in here. We had a Remlinger tine bar that went across the back of this disc that didn't work all that great. So we took that off, but before we put it on, we had to take this hitch off in here. I'm just now putting that back on there, and then I'm going to put a toolbox on the back of the disc. We've got these style toolboxes on our chisel plows, just to put tips and everything in. I've got another one over there on the floor that I'm going to put on the 17 shank chisel plow as well. And then what we'll put in here is scrapers and the wrenches for the gangs, the gang arbors, just miscellaneous tools that you always end up dragging with you up in the cab. So we're going to make a little angle iron bracket there to set the toolbox onto. We've lined the toolbox with 1/2 inch or 3/8 plywood just to keep the metal pieces from chafing through it. So the other boys are working on alley scraper plows. We're replacing and or flipping over rubber that goes on the arms. We use 1 inch conveyor belting. It's 6 inches wide and 1 inch thick, and we get two uses out of this. We run it one way, and then we can flip it over, so it's got a reversible edge on it. Some of them we have to flip, some of them we have to replace, and we have to usually put new pins in here. The hinge pins we replace. We put a 1/2 inch bottom on them. We just cut them off and put new pieces on there, and it saves the truck. We can get a lot of life out of the truck. And then occasionally we have to replace the cable winch here. This is what lines up the winch itself. So these guys are working on these here, and we're going to work on getting our toolbox put on there. We'll step over and check on Jered here in a minute. He's working on the 4250. Well, we've been out there washing. Jered's been putting his head on, and I forgot to throw a camera on it. So he's torquing everything down now. I don't know if he's around on his second time around or not, but there's a sequence you have to go in, and he's got that all under control. So, well, how you making out, Jered? Good. Well, it looks like we've got everything torqued on the head. You just turn that radio down a little bit, Colton. Now we're putting injectors in. Yeah, Colton and Jered working on this. We're probably going to be able to get after spreading manure here tomorrow. We've got some fresh motor oil on it here from install. Yep. Well, we're gaining on this toolbox here. We've got some rails put on the bottom of it, and then we're just going to put them, I'm going to weld the one up towards the front of it onto here, and then we'll have to put a foot against the bottom to level the box up. So Kerr, he's making some gates here for barn 4. Had some gates that were kind of crappy and rotted out, needed replaced. So he's working on that here, and then we'll step over in the other building and we'll check on the 4250 that's coming right along here pretty good. So how's she coming? Good. Well, Colton's getting the fuel system hooked up for the most part. They got the injectors in. They got all the valves in it, rockers on there now. Have you adjusted them yet? No. No. They got to be adjusted yet. But it's coming along. Got the fan on. Glad to be out of school, Colton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Learning this stuff's better, isn't it?
Yep. Where's your barring tool? You need one of the barring tools?
Yeah, I'll go get it for you.
Gonna put this on tomorrow morning or what?
Yeah. All right, we are gonna unload this injector here for Denny. And we're gonna take some pictures of it. This was built by Ortel Supply. He's got the Dietrich shanks on there along with the Husky hood kit and spread plate. So we're gonna go ahead and get this unloaded quickly. Alright, we just carried this down to set it on the concrete here, and that'll enable us to be able to put it on the spreader tomorrow. We'll be able to get the telehandler around the other side, give it any kind of help that we need to get that hooked up. But this is all ready to go. Looks like it's built very well. 6-shank injector with Dietrich tips. Well, the only place we're seeing progress is on the 4250 here. So, got the valve cover on now. Fan is in place. He's got his hydraulic coupler that he's hooking up now. And Colton's hooking up the alternator, getting his fan belts adjusted. You know, I have the writing on the belts in the same spot. And it's on backwards. How you gonna be able to read that?
You done messed up, Aaron. You gotta take it back off.
No. Alright, you got the water manifold on. What else you got done, Jered?
Boy, I don't know. Water manifold on, head's on, valve cover's on, valves are adjusted, coupler's on, fan's on. Yeah, we made a little copper coat mess, but it wipes off, don't worry.
Yeah.
And we had our plate on, water pump, put that on a while ago.
Yeah.
Got our new AC belt on. I don't know when I did that, but I did do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, manifold will be going on next. Well, we've got the toolbox setting in place where we want it. We've actually got that sitting level with the actual frame itself. I ended up putting 1.5 by 3 rectangle tube just as a support on the bottom of the toolbox, and then we just got a couple of vertical flat stock pieces that are going to go in the back, one on each side. We'll weld it across the front right here, and then we'll shove another little flat bar underneath there to fill in that gap, and then that should be strong enough to hold that toolbox in place. Well, we've got most of the welding done here. I just got to cut 2 more little pieces to go in underneath here. It's on there good enough, but we're just going to fill in that gap on each side. I'm having trouble with this damn welding helmet. I thought that it needed a new battery, but the auto shade darkening mechanism on it is no good. This helmet I got new back in February of '09. So I've had this helmet for 11 years, and I think I've got to replace it. The helmet's good, it just needs the new auto shade darkening mechanism there. So we put a new battery in it earlier, and it just does not do the trick. So let's cut some pieces to go in there, and then that's gonna do it for this box here. Alright, that is going to wrap up this job. It's going to wrap up this video more or less too. So we've got this box on there. It's just kind of cobbled together. It's going to work for what we want it to work for. Now this box here, I've got a box just like this on the chisel plow. And we're going to put a box on the 17 shank as well. But we just end up lining this with just some plywood that we had laying around, and that way the parts that you throw in there is not going to dent the inside of the box up, and it's not going to rust it all out. These boxes I think were $80, I think. It's kind of nice, something to have a lid on, and then the parts that you throw in there, they don't get all rusted up and whatever. But we'll end up throwing these scrapers in there. These here, the arms. The triangular U-bolt here for that hold the scraper arm onto the bearing bracket. Oh, what else will he throw in there? There are the wrenches for these arbor bolts. A couple of them arbor bolt or nut roll pins. Just some odds and ends and whatever. So we're going to step over into the other building and check on Jered's engine job, and that's going to close out. Head job, that is, and that's going to close out this video here. Alright, now Jered's got the intake manifold on, the exhaust manifold, and the turbo. Did you put new turbo gaskets on there, didn't you, or didn't you take that apart?
I didn't take that apart.
No, there wasn't really a need to take that apart. But when he took that manifold off, he took the whole manifold off as one, and then he's got a lot of new hardware going on there. You know, all the gaskets and whatever are brand new. So I guess that's gonna about do it for this video, folks. I want to thank you for watching. Leave me a thumbs up, drop me a comment down below. We did unload that injector here a little bit earlier, and we're going to be putting that on the Jamesway spreader here tomorrow. So we've been kind of waiting for that to come. We do have a NutriJet injector that we had used in the past on that Jamesway spreader, but when I had bought the Noon spreader used, that came with a Dietrich style injector, and we just like that style so much better. So I wanted to have the same thing on the other spreader. So you can be looking forward to that coming up here in the next couple of videos, or next couple of days anyways. It'll be the install of that injector, and by then this thing's going to be running, and we'll see you at the next one, I guess. So thanks again for watching, folks. We'll catch you at the next one.